we move on to the psychology of social media, because it's a fascinating and multifaceted field that delves into the intricate ways in which human behavior, emotions, and cognition interact with online social interactions. Now, these platforms provide a stage where individuals seek social validation through likes, comments, and shares, influencing their self-esteem and self-worth. Now, there's a lot to discuss when it comes to the psychology of social media, like, for example, fear of missing out, i.e. FOMO, engaging in social media to stay updated and connected, curating personas presented online, and instant gratification of notifications, for example. There's a lot more to discuss. However, I've got filmmaker, photographer, and founder of KeepCreating.media, Firas Alloch from Dearborn, Michigan, on the line to help me give an insight into this topic. Firas, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic to have you. Thank you for being on the show. So firstly, tell us about you. What do you do? What's your passion?
I'm a photographer, filmmaker since at a very young age. So probably around 13, 14. I ended up studying media arts and studies. I graduated from Wayne State University here in Detroit. And now after a lot of like filmmaking work and I was at one point a video specialist at Ford Motor Company. Now I found in 2020 we started Keep Creating, which is a contemporary creative media agency based here in Michigan, where we help businesses and brands create content for social that works for them in order to like kill all the traditional media that is like, that has been like overpriced and just like help other businesses, raise your voice and clarify their messaging better to help them raise awareness about their brands and whatnot, and all this stuff.
Yeah. Inshallah. Okay, fantastic. So in terms of social media, Firas, if we just focus on social media for now, I mean, I know that we have some topics that we discussed before we came on air, but how have you seen the development of social media in your lifetime experience working in the media?
Mm-hmm. So things have been very interesting in the past, maybe I would say 10 years. So I grew up on TV, I grew up about like watching TV for entertainment, and then even for news, it was like TV was like kind of the hub for us to start getting all of our information. And at one point in my life, I remember it was like 2016, 17, I started getting into the idea of like modern media. I remember I was studying more about it, and then I started understanding like there's something called modern media.
Yeah.
And what does that actually mean? And I digged into it and started understanding more into it. And modern media is obviously the non-traditional media of things. Traditional media is TV, billboards, like radio ads and radio stations, magazines, all the stuff. But what is modern media really? And it's more of like having more like internet involved in everything that you do, using more of like the platforms that people put up so we can use. I remember in 2016 or 2015, Facebook changed one little thing in its platform. And it's auto playing videos on Facebook. So I'm not sure if you remember, but we used to click on the video in order to watch.
I do.
So
we had
to click a play button to watch.
Yeah.
And at one point, they changed everything to like autoplay. And this was like I don't know how many people actually like see the actual difference that happened, but people started watching 50% more videos than before.
What?
And more on that.
Just by pressing a button.
Yeah. So you're just scrolling through Facebook, and now you're seeing the videos play instead of just instead of you deciding that you want to watch this. So
Yeah.
it's kind of if you think about it psychologically, Facebook is not asking you to click the button. It's just telling you, here's the video that you need to watch.
Yeah.
And you start watching it. And that brings you to the point of how important the first 3 seconds of a video are, all the stuff. While before it
Yeah.
was more about the thumbnail and the title and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the other part was more of now I don't like sometimes because the video is already playing, I don't even need audio. And that's
Yeah.
where Al Jazeera actually took a big advantage of this, where they released AJ Plus, which is one of the most revolutionary, I would say, media content on the internet, where they
Yeah.
changed everything to this. They started their, I'm sure you're familiar with AJ Plus.
Yeah.
When AJ Plus started, now this started, and
Yeah.
now, now this the page. There's a lot of pages that
Yeah.
started coming on Facebook that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
based in this form, just like
Yeah.
mostly music news and having like titles on it. And people
Yeah.
started using it like in a lot of ways. Not only it didn't end up only in news. There's this the 5 minute craft thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
start also like seeing like how to use a certain thing in 5 minutes in
Yeah.
order to save
Yeah.
some time and whatnot. So this really got stuck into my head. Like, okay, how do like this is a big deal.
Yeah.
They're utilizing something called citizen journalism, which
Yeah.
is Ali right now in London. He'll take a video and we'll use it in our news just because he's there. We don't need a reporter now to take the videos for us. And this was like so revolutionary. I don't think a lot of people were actually seeing it like deep into what it's actually doing.
Yeah.
So I doubled down on it.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, if you don't mind me asking, I had a look at your Instagram profile, and I noticed a range of different topics in and around kind of like social media. There are deep, certain psychological topics that you cover. One of them that really interested me was media and culture. And you mentioned earlier how the culture has now suddenly changed from me wanting to watch a video to then subconsciously being kind of thrown at me without me really deciding if I want to watch the video or not. So how has that suddenly changed in terms of the media and how we consume the media, and how does it really dictate our reality for us, if you don't mind?
There's a like one of my favorites in understanding media. His book is actually called Understanding Media. He's a Canadian philosopher named Marshall McLuhan. And Marshall stated once, and some people say it's not him, but it's kind of the same concept. He said, "We build the tools, and then the tools build us. We are designed by what we have designed."
Yeah.
And if you dig deep into what this actually means, it's more about, okay, we built the smartphone,
Yeah.
but now the smartphone is building the way we think.
Yeah.
We are designed by what we have designed, and it's like this is nothing bad or good. That's what I like to make sure people understand. This is just a way of seeing the world, I guess. The way of understanding how media affects our culture. Like we started our phones. Our phones are not now have cameras, better cameras.
Yeah.
This is definitely gonna affect the way we're taking videos. This is
Yeah.
definitely gonna affect how many videos are we gonna have online that people are gonna be posting, especially what we're
Yeah.
seeing these days. Everyone has a phone. We're using these phones to our advantage. The other side of it is that once we put out, I don't believe that media is a reflection of our culture, how other
Okay.
people make you feel it is.
Okay.
Media creates our culture,
Right.
and like, in certain movies or shows or what even news, and especially what we're seeing today, they tell you like this is a reflection of reality.
Yeah.
His news in a way that fits his propaganda. And
Yeah.
I spoke recently about this, and propaganda is not a bad word.
Yeah.
Everyone's practicing propaganda, which is not, it's not a bad thing. Bad propaganda is, lying is.
Yeah.
Um, so news, shows, movies, TVs, they're not reflecting our culture. They are creating it.
Right.
That's how media companies and outlets want the world to be. And that's why they're making it like that.
Right.
So it just I'm not saying this is a good or a bad thing. Again, this is just another way, or I think is the only way
Y-
to look at how
Yeah.
media is being consumed these days.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, one of the other posts that you had on your social media feeds, specifically Instagram, Firas, was talking about producing content, and you talked about ego versus culture, and how certain new content creators will focus on their ego rather than focus on the value that they can bring to the media consumer. Tell us a bit more about this particular idea.
This thing is coming from the idea of every brand or business or even an organization. They want to make they want to make the whole story about them. They want to make the
Yeah,
whole story about, they think they are the heroes of the story.
yeah,
But the thing is, whatever you are, whatever you fit in, either like a small business, big business, or just an organization or a nonprofit, you need to act like the guide in that story. You
yeah,
are the helper in that story. You're helping me.
yeah,
Like if I'm watching you, Ali, I need to gain value from you.
right,
If you want to always talk about like how many people you have or the views on your show, it's not going to
yeah,
get me anything. It's not the value
no,
I'm looking for. What
no,
I'm
no,
looking for is like how I'm going to gain and benefit from the conversation you're having and all this stuff. So
yeah,
what I'm trying to help people understand, and that the sun doesn't revolve around you, more that I want you to be more valuable to people. People are
yeah,
watching you because they want to get something. So if you're not
absolutely,
giving
yeah,
them that thing, it's just not going to be worth it.
yeah. So how do you work on kind of value produced content, which is valuable for
So when I sit
the
down
consumer?
some of my clients, I tell them like, okay, what do you have in mind? What is the content we're trying to make? And
Yeah,
they, of course, sometimes they kind of make it about them. Not that they have bad intentions about it. They just
yeah,
don't know, because for the longest time, people have been creating content that's only about them.
yeah,
So I tell them like, okay, let's change things up. Let's like, where's the value here? What are you giving to this person? What are you giving to this person? Why would people watch that?
yeah.
There's certain needs for people, and you need to fill those needs in order to make it like worth it for people, for you to
I
watch.
re-
Yeah, at least you can get some views on
Yeah,
it
no,
and engage.
I agree. I agree. So looking further on, then, some advice for the youth who are looking for careers in, and I don't know if I can call it social media, but should the youth look into careers into content creation, Firas?
When I first really started, my parents did not get it. They were like, "What are you trying to do?" I mean, alhamdulillah, my parents are like, they were not as like pushy as you might think. They didn't get it. Like, I would say they didn't actually believe in what I'm getting into, which I
Yeah,
understand. Um, but I kept pushing and trying my best to create what I really wanted to create. Alhamdulillah,
yeah,
I am the person I wanted to be when I was 13. So
Absolutely.
and I can't be more fulfilled now. But but it's like I see a lot of people now trying to get into photography or filmmaking, content creation, YouTube, all this stuff, and I truly support that a lot. Like you definitely need to be more involved in media, and this is
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, if you wanted to provide a step-by-step guide, a very quick step-by-step guide into becoming a content creator, what would you recommend, Firas?
So a lot of people are against school,
Yeah.
going to film school or going to college for it or whatnot, all this stuff. I I can tell you, like I probably didn't learn a lot, like the technicalities. I did not learn from school.
Right.
I don't think I did. In my first photography class, I was able to give a class, and I
Yeah.
did give some sessions because the teacher liked me a lot. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it.
Wow.
But the thing is, school forces you to create projects, and this is the biggest deal. You can come and tell me like, hey, school, like you know how it is now with all the youth. School is not important. It's not as important. Like we don't need to do all of this. But I don't think like if you have the discipline to do all the projects the school is going to get you into, okay, don't go to school. You can
Yeah.
go learn everything yourself because you can. Don't go to school and do it yourself. I think school helped me a lot in that term. It helped
Fair.
me create the projects I wanted. I have a certain set of projects in my portfolio. I was able to understand some media theories, and this is the reason I have a lot of information about media.
Yeah.
Without school, I don't know how interested I'll be in something like this because no one's like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever buy a book to read about media if it wasn't
Yeah.
for that. Because so a lot of people are not into it, which is fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing as long as you have the discipline and the consistency of creating more projects, putting more into portfolio, understanding more about how everything works,
Yeah.
so you can get into it. So a step-by-step plan would be understanding more about what do you want to be, which is very hard, and you need some
Yeah.
time because in our field you can end up an actor, you can end up more of a just a cinematographer, which was what I was going into the most.
Yeah.
You can like directing a lot. You can be an editor. You can be an animator. You can be a motion graphics artist. You can be a bunch of all of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's gonna take some time to discover what you actually want. Okay, I'm saying years.
Yeah.
And after practicing, creating projects, and doing this and doing this, and discovering what other options do you actually have to work with.
Yeah.
So like it's more of just practicing and staying consistent with it if you actually like it a lot.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And for us, just for time, lastly, you again, I had some extensive research on your Instagram profile, and there were some recommendations on things like Threads, an app, many other apps as well. So, what are the latest apps that you can recommend, be it social media or not social media, things that could be useful to viewers?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of the big three, uh, or maybe now the big two because Facebook is out of place.
Yeah.
But I would say Facebook Reels are doing amazing in terms of Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook Reels are the best part about it. There's so much engagement, so much reach. They're trying to push it as much as they can. Um, and especially if you link your Instagram to your Facebook, you can share every reel you post to Facebook, which is also going to benefit the Facebook community.
Right.
We just need to understand that's a different audience too. It's an older audience. Um, Instagram, on the other side, is more of like it's kind of like going through a transformation now,
Right.
which is a good. I mean, it's been going through the transformation since TikTok started.
Yeah.
Um, Instagram has been the game. I think it's one of the hardest platforms to create content on these days because of
Yeah.
how many things there is on it now. Um, so in terms like Instagram now likes quality, likes having more valuable stuff. There's so much content being put out on it, so the competition is actually very real.
Wow.
Um, so keeping along with Instagram is kind of like it's not an easy task these days.
No.
Um, and I'm sure you saw one of my interests, and it's more about the interest graph versus the social graph.
I
And
did.
this
Yeah,
is
I did.
what Instagram changed since the rise of TikTok, because TikTok is all based on interests. If Ali
Mm.
likes cats, he's gonna see more videos about cats. And TikTok's gonna see how long are you watching these videos for, how
Yeah.
you're interacting with them, are you engaging with them or not? All your information, it's all laid down. Like this is Ali's profile.
Yeah.
Those are the hashtags he likes and watches, and of course AI is actually helping TikTok with a lot of the algorithm, because they're able to detect, even if there's no hashtag or there's no caption, they're able to detect
Yeah.
what's in that video.
Absolutely.
So Instagram before was more based on the social graph. If we follow each other, we'll see each other's posts. If I
Yeah.
follow you, you follow me. I see your post, you see my post. If we don't
Right.
follow each other, there's no way we're gonna see our posts.
Yeah.
But now, no. Now, if I'm interested in Ali Farah's show, I'm gonna be seeing more of this show pop up on my feed just because they know I like it.
Now,
Um,
do you
so
do
so
you
that's
do you have to like a certain post
no,
for them to suddenly
no,
think, oh, this is what we should push out to him? So,
no,
so how does it work then?
no. So first, what people need to understand is that algorithms take a lot of time to develop.
Right.
And TikTok is way ahead of Instagram. And that's exactly why a lot of people enjoy TikTok way more than they enjoy Instagram. Because
Mm.
TikTok is giving them actually what they like. If I just watch a video, if I watch like let's say you posted this interview, our interview on TikTok. You split it into like 5 parts,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna put it out there. And I watched one part. I did not like it. I did not comment. I just watched the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, or probably I watched like 70% of it. TikTok
Okay.
takes a note. Oh, Firas just watched 70% of this interview, and this creator posted part two, like today. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure if I show him part two, he's gonna watch it again, because the reason is that I want you to be on TikTok. I mean,
Right.
like every social media platform's goal is to keep you on it. That's
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
know, it's not as complicated as people make it.
No.
They just want you to be on it. So if I'm gonna show Firas the other part, he's gonna watch it. So I'm gonna take more time with him. Good.
Right.
I
Right.
want
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
Instagram is not as smart yet.
Hmm.
You know, and that's at least like what I see for me.
So
Insta-
how do you crack Instagram?
How do you crack Instagram? Uh, I don't like such terms. I don't like going back to our conversation. I like to crack information
Absolutely.
and value, and putting information, like things that are gonna benefit my audience, things
Yeah.
that are gonna be helpful to me, to people around me, and especially, and this is only gonna help you understand who are you, what are you trying to do, what are you trying to be, what are you trying to tell people about.
Right.
This is what you need to crack, not how you crack audience, not how you crack Instagram. Cracking
Okay.
Instagram is not valuable. If because go ahead, post cat videos and you're gonna get views. What is that gonna do? I don't know why I've been stuck in cat videos this whole interview, but yeah.
You've made me into a cat
I don't even.
person. Please.
No, I'm not. I'm the complete opposite.
Right. So, any last apps that you can recommend? Sorry, for us. Anything weird and funky that could be useful for us?
I mean, LinkedIn is important. The way people put it out there, but I don't think I have anything like that is weird and funky. What I think is very important is going back to like the media and the culture is understanding that each platform takes a different kind of content on it.
Yeah.
So
No,
the things you post on Facebook are not the same things you can post on Instagram. They're definitely not the same things you post on LinkedIn, and they're not the same thing that you post on TikTok. So this variation of things
wait.
is important.
So on that note, what many people kind of will
Yeah.
do is that they'll create one piece of content, and they'll mass upload the same thing. So the
Yeah.
same hashtags, the same caption on TikTok,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram. Obviously not LinkedIn, because that's a very professional social media outlet. So, but the main thing is that they'll put everything on one platform. Is that a useful way of social media utilization, you would say, for us?
I mean, you can deconstruct it. Like think about it. Facebook takes longer videos. In
Okay.
your head, you are ready to watch longer videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
YouTube, you are too. Like if you think about yourself going to YouTube, Ali in his head, he's like, okay, where's that 10-minute video I'm looking to watch now? It's
Yeah.
not your head when you open your TikTok, because you're opening TikTok in the middle of everything just so you can waste some time. You're just mindlessly scrolling.
Yeah.
LinkedIn though is maybe your morning kind of like thing. I mean, that's at least for me. I open my LinkedIn in the morning to check some stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm there to read.
Yeah.
So I rarely watch videos on LinkedIn unless I'm
Yeah.
just like being too, nosy about it. Like a video, I'm trying to know more of
So
something.
so you have to be mindful.
But
Sorry.
yeah, like
You have to be
they're very
mind.
meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to like some ads we create, for example, for Facebook are different. At least we change in the way like captions are written, or the way or the thumbnail of this video, or how long, or a longer version. On Instagram, for example, attention span is very short, so you need to be as short as possible when taking people's attention.
Yeah.
So it definitely matters on the content you're trying to produce and all this stuff. But yeah, the platforms are a huge deal, and we need to understand.
Firas, I wish we had more time to discuss this. Genuinely, I've got question after question when it comes to social media. It's fantastic, and you seem to know your stuff. Look, thank you very much for appearing on the show. Really, really appreciate it. And actually.